Listener questions, bud. What questions we got? Mr. Instagrammer.
We got a shitload,
Mr. Everything questions.
All right, which one do you want to start with? Because
Okay.
it seems like you're picking some still.
Yeah.
Oh, no. I had one.
Go ahead.
What's your favorite Disney character? Somebody asked it. I'm just giving the people what they want.
One person. Giving one person what they want. And this is too hard for Joey to think about, I guess.
Vaselino. What is it?
It's probably Aladdin.
No, Jafar. Rafiki, dude.
Rafiki.
Dude, I think I'm going to go with Pumbaa.
Pumbaa, yeah.
Dude, I think I'm going to go with Pumbaa. He's just so carefree.
Yeah.
He's just so carefree,
Yeah.
man. He's
What about
just
you?
like,
Oh, I think if it is a Disney character, probably Tarzan.
Yeah.
He's a Tarzan guy, dude. Oh, I'm in the boo box for that. Classic.
I just watched Hook last night for the
Did you?
first time in like 15 years, and I loved it, dude.
Yeah. I think it's a terrible movie. But yeah. All right, man. Hit us with a question.
Okay, first question is from Logan Lesperance, and he is a goose calling mentee that I had since I've been doing goose calling lessons, and he said, "What's the scariest thing you and the guys have had happen while hunting?"
Oh.
Connor, hit us with it.
Yeah. The scariest one that I can think of would probably be when we were out goose hunting with some guys that didn't really have the lanes down for shooting, and one person shot another person's barrel.
So essentially what happened was you're supposed when you're hunting, you have this area. You have this area in front of you to shoot. And what happens when people are inexperienced is they go like this.
Yeah.
Because they see a bird that they want to shoot, when instead you should be shooting in front of you. They go like this. Shit goes wrong pretty quick.
And it was kind of both of their faults.
100%.
You know, because they were both kind of shooting out of their,
Out of their
lane. But, in layouts, you're right next to each other. And they both sat up and reached across. One was sitting further forward than the other and caught the barrel.
I mean, we probably had 30 geese 15 yards from us on the deck. This is the day after duck opener in a flooded wheat field. These things were coming in on a string. And we called the shot.
Yep.
We bang into him. I think we shot like 10 out of the
shot
group.
He shot it out of his hand.
Right.
And it,
we
completely went into two pieces.
We were on the opposite side of the spread, and we started banging into him. And we shot a bunch out of that group. But all of a sudden, you just see like parts fly across you. And it's like, what was that? And then you hear everyone going, yeah, yeah. And then it's just like, doing. You see like a spring. You see like a spring fly in front of you, and then you hear two guys going like, oh my God, and your heart just sinks.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God, what happened? Shot the barrel of the other guy's gun.
Nobody died.
Nobody died.
No.
Nobody was injured.
Yeah, his hand didn't get hit.
Very lucky.
That was one thing, because your left hand is up there, like it's holding the front, and it like was probably 6-7 inches in front of that is where it got shot.
Mm-hmm.
And oof.
Scary stuff, man. But
Any
that's
other
a really
scary
good one.
ones that you guys have?
Cal, you got one off the top of your head?
Not really.
I've never gone in under like over my waders. I think that'd freak me out pretty bad.
Oh, it's not so bad.
Well, I mean, when you're standing, it's not, but like some kind of like out of the boat or whatever, and it all of a sudden is over your waders.
Take it from someone who's gone over his waders at least 3 times a year.
It's
not so bad.
So you've got, when you jump out of the boat, it's deeper than you thought it would be, and immediately go over your waders.
Yeah.
Oof.
No, you're right next to the boat, so you can grab the boat.
That'd
Dude,
freak me
people on
out.
here, I'm sure like people listening have had like some horror stories.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure I know
Some
there's
real foot lake stuff, dude.
some scary stuff out there.
Yeah.
But I just haven't experienced too much of that.
Can't get back. Everything's freezing.
Yeah.
Freezing cold. Can't. Yeah.
I don't know. I just came up with like 6 or 7
Dude,
stories.
it's kind of weird. I was just going to say one thing that's kind of crazy to me is like every time we hunt, especially when we hunt with like new people, I don't even like really say a whole lot about like every time we're hunting, should I be like, hey guys, all right, so everybody's got a lane. Everybody shoots in a lane. Nobody shoots until I say kill them. No, but you know what I mean? Like it's kind of an interesting thing. I should probably do a little bit more.
I mean, if they're inexperienced, for sure.
Yeah.
But if you're just hunting with buddies, I understand that.
Yeah.
The scariest one that comes to mind is when I got shot when I was like 5. I was in a pit. I was in a septic tank buried in the ground where they cut off like the top half. It's a property that my dad and I managed back in the day. And we had these gun holders hanging out the front of the pit. And then you just like have these lids that with like grass covering it, whatever. And one of the holds broke. Shotgun fell. Shotgun shot. And it shot on the ground and it bounced off that wall of the septic tank and hit everybody. And I had like 3 to 5 BBs in my neck as a 5-year-old. Now, that was really scary. Do I remember it a whole lot? No. Now, it didn't, like, I don't have any scars on my neck or anything. It was just like kind of purple. Like some hit me in the neck. Nothing like, I think like 2 went into my skin, but it was just bleeding a little bit where you can like touch it and there's barely any blood on your hand. But, like, that's some scary stuff, man. So,
yeah, you
like,
got lucky. You got lucky that it bounced off the ground and then off the wall before it hit you.
No, but that one was pretty scary. And my dad, like, still, he ingrained in me gun safety so much so that, like, I never don't know if my gun is or is not off safety. Ever.
Yeah.
Like, my hand is touching the opposite. So I'm right-handed. My finger is touching the opposite side of fire. So, like, I just always know subconsciously my gun's on safety. You know, and who knows, that gun might not have been on safety when it fell and primer hit.
I did have one with a handgun once that it was like a drop. Like I was I was deholstering it for like the day or something like that, and I dropped it. And handguns are super safe, you know, when it comes to internal safeties or whatever. But when that drop happened, because it caught on my sweatshirt or something like that, like it hit the ground and the barrel was pointed right at my face.
Oh, that's so scary.
Yeah. I was like, oh my goodness.
You can't be safe. You can't be safe enough.
Yeah.
Right. Like, and I was gonna say this too. Don't be scared to like legitimately put a bullet into your
Stovepipe it.
Yeah, man.
Where you take the first bullet out, you throw the shell in sideways.
Yeah, sideways.
Yeah.
If you're not working, because the thing is, especially with like ducks or geese, like most of the time you're seeing them coming, unless you're on like water and like real tall cattails or something. But if you're in a field, I mean, you're working birds, you're calling at them. Like you can load your gun then and still have it on safety until you're ready to shoot.
But going with your point, what's better? Almost dying or not getting shot off at the bird?
Right. 100%.
Not getting shot off at the bird.
For sure.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
right.
crazy.
Second question. What makes the difference in a good traffic field from a great traffic field other than birds being over it?
Okay.
So this is a really good question. This is obviously mostly for Canada geese. Here's the big decider. When I'm looking at it, you know where the roost is, you know where the feed is, and they're kind of just going like that. They're flying all over the place, and they're kind of making a big circle, whatever. Here's the big proponent that makes it from a good field to a great traffic field. Is your hide.
100%.
Is your hide, man.
Where can
and then
you hide?
Wind direction and hide. I would take a shitty wind direction, or I would take a crappy wind direction over a good wind direction if I didn't have a good hide.
Yeah, like I'd rather have a good hide and a bad wind than a bad hide and a good wind.
Exactly.
Yeah, because even if you have a good wind and a bad hide, you're screwed anyway.
Well, they're going to see you. They're
Doesn't
not going
matter.
to come in.
Doesn't even matter, dude.
So that was actually a pretty easy question.
Yeah, that was an easy question. But also one thing I was going to say too that makes it, in our area at least, I can speak for Minnesota, is food source. Right? So like if you have a cornfield here, it's definitely going to be better than
Like wheat or alfalfa.
Yeah, depending on the time of the year, but like alfalfa, it's going to be better than alfalfa. I tell you that much, guaranteed, bud. You know.
I disagree. I totally disagree. So with a cornfield, stalks can be 2 feet tall or they can be carpet, you know?
Yeah.
And if they're 2 feet tall, they have a harder time landing into it. No, let me finish. They have a harder time landing into it. Whereas a bean field, it's got that lightish yellow color, that like a maroonish color, whatever color beans are, you know? It's flat. Your decoys are popping.
And
they can see your decoys a lot better than they can in a chisel plowed cornfield, or even in a normal cornfield that's not chisel plowed yet.
And you have
bean fields
hide.
Bean fields, well, an edge hide, but bean fields are superior in traffic hunting because you have so much more visibility of your decoys being able to be seen.
All right, man. I mean, I'm not talking about like, oh, did your field get screwed and there's 2 feet of corn stalk still sticking up? Like I was talking about, like if you have, I don't know, whatever, man. I disagree, I guess.
No,
like
but
if you have a well plowed cornfield that's not chisel plowed, I'd take that over a bean field every single day of the week. But whatever.
No, the difference between a corn and a bean field is corn, they are going to eat. Beans, they might not eat. You know, just because what are ducks and geese more feeding in? Corn or beans? It's corn. So
Well, you give them both, beans and the kern.
Beans in the
beans
kern.
in the kern.
Shoot them beans in the corn. In the kern.
Beans in the kern.
No,
All right.
it's purely conjecture, and it totally depends on the area and what the situation is. But
Yeah.
if I had a choice to run traffic in a bean field or a corn field, probably be bean field.
Oh, wow. I'd absolutely disagree.
The visibility is incredible. Your decoys pop. It's incredible.
Okay.
Third
If you're on
listener.
a good traffic field though, and they're like flying over it, then don't listen to Joey and hunt the corn.
Of course. Well, say every field that you can get permission on is 100 yards off their flight line, and you have a bean field or a corn field, I am going to choose that bean field.
We should
Straight
do
up.
a video.
I'm gonna shoot the corn, and then we'll do that in a video.
We'll do a
sometime. That'd be
comparison.
fun.
Sure. Let's
That'd be
compare who
epic.
shoots more.
That would be epic.
Yeah.
Let's
If you
compare
could,
who shoots more birds.
if you did, like, if you actually had like a disagreement on which traffic field was better, and so then that's what you did. You had a camera with each, see what happened.
I would totally do that.
That would be so cool.
Let's do it. I'll
Okay.
whoop your ass.
All right.
All right, we'll see.
Next question.
What is your guys' favorite part about duck hunting?
To me.
Connor, what's your favorite part about duck hunting? Besides yourself.
My ability to make great videos.
Yeah. You know, I am the one that's making the videos, and so I really like that we can talk. It's not whispering, and I really like that it is.
You're saying versus big game or turkeys.
Yeah.
Or,
You
deer.
can't say anything. You gotta be quiet.
it's more social.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It is way more social. You can make breakfast in the blind. You're going to one spot, you're staying there. So for filming, it is the best type of hunting to film.
Yeah.
No question. You know, everybody's loud, everybody's talking, there's calling, you can mesh music together, you can make a story. No question, it's the best hunting to film. As far as myself, like choosing to go out and shoot or whatever, I do like the ability to limit and then also limit every day, if that makes sense. So like for deer, you go out, you might see some stuff, you know, you might fall asleep, you know, like, but for ducks, it's like you're constantly looking, you know, it's just more action. That's why, I guess that's the best way for me to put it. It's more action.
You can harvest more.
Yeah, well, and
versus
then
one deer
you
or
do
one
it.
turkey.
You can go home. You can make some jalapeno poppers and then do it again the next day. You know,
Mm.
and it's just fun. It's a lot more about the camaraderie. It's a more social sport. You can go out and hunt ducks alone, but more often than not, you're hunting with people.
Yeah.
So, your buddies.
Cal, what about you?
Well, for me, I think I love that it's an event. You know, like it's not just hunting. It's so many other things involved in that, right? It's like the scouting that leads up to it, and then it's the hunt, and then not only is it the hunt, but then you're with some of your best friends, and you all have this common goal, and there's this camaraderie, and like you said, Connor, you can make breakfast or not, and even if you have a crappy day bird hunting, like you said, you're still like constantly looking for the birds and, calling at birds, and there's that relationship with the birds, and then the hunt sucks, and then everybody's at breakfast together, and you're scouting for birds the next day. So for me, it's like, it's the whole entire conglomerate of it being an event versus just going out and killing an animal and going home. You know what I mean? Type of thing, which I know, and I'm not a serious deer hunter. I have mad respect for people that are deer hunters, any type of hunter in general that puts work and effort into hunting.
I'm not.
It's cool.
Yeah.
I don't have the personal experience with it to say it's amazing or not, but I know that there's an event for guys that watch trail cams all year and let a deer grow for 3 years and, food plots and, then it's hours of sitting in a stand and you've watched this deer and then you finally get to harvest it. So I'm sure that's great. But for me, just the waterfowl event and the camaraderie and the brotherhood. So
Yeah.
For me, it's definitely the interaction that I have with the bird.
yeah,
Whether it's duck or goose. I mean, there's not a whole lot of stuff in nature where you can literally bend their will to come in and make them think that you are one of them. That is by far the coolest thing. I can, and Cal's giving me his camera this when he buys his new one. I'm buying a nice lens. And like in the springtime, I'm going to go out around home and I'm going to set decoys and I'm going to take pictures of birds. Like, I love the fact that I can go out there and call birds into my spread and be able to take pictures with them. Like, that's what I'm going to do in my off season, man. I love that aspect of ducks and geese where I can bend their will to where they aren't going to go somewhere. So just say you're traffic hunting. It's like, okay, they're flying over this field. If you're good enough on a call and you're in the right spot and you have a good decoy spread and you have a good hide, you can make that goose land in a place that he doesn't want to be or he wasn't planning on going.
Mm-hmm.
That part to me is so cool. There's so much back and forth interaction with you and that animal. That's my favorite part about duck and goose hunting.
So the same reasoning, though, could be said for elk or turkey hunting.
Absolutely good.
So then why ducks?
Why ducks?
That's what Joey hunts.
It's easier. It's easier for me. It's just I grew up doing it. It's very sentimental for me. I did it with my dad. And I can do it in my area. I can't elk hunt where I'm from.
Right, yeah.
I didn't grow up doing it. I know nothing about elk hunting.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you can shoot more than one a year.
Mm-hmm.
Same with turkeys. I can shoot more than one a year in my area with a shotgun or with a bow or whatever. I don't even know the laws on it. It sucks. But they're ducks and geese, man. That personal interaction you have with them, and where you get them close enough to where you can see the goop in their eyes. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Love it so much. That's my favorite.
Well, thank you guys. Appreciate it. Thank you for tuning in, whether you're on YouTube or the podcast. And if you're on one and not the other, please do us a favor and get on both.
Go to the
That'd be pretty sweet.
Well, tell me what your favorite interaction is about
Yes.
duck hunting or goose hunting. Let's hear it in the comments.
Preach.
Is it the camaraderie, the
brother.
calling,
Is
the
it
beauty of the bird?
Making food in the blind? Is it, is it hanging out at duck camp? Who knows? I mean, I love all of it. So I understand each and every
aspect
Running the
of
dog.
it. Running the dog,
Ooh,
exactly.
that's a big one for a
That's
lot of people.
Fun one
dog
for me
work.
too.
Yeah.
I got way more into duck and goose hunting after I got my dog.
Yeah.
So I totally get that.
Let us know, guys. Let us know if you have any other questions that we can answer in future episodes, and we will see you soon.